This is what we've been throwing since last year, and if you're a fan, you know my jerkbait tackle constantly changes as new tackle comes out. But what doesn't change is the fundamentals of what I'm doing. This is a 6'6", it's a fast, it's medium power, Veritas rod right here. It's designed for 6 to 12 pound line. It's a very standard jerkbait rod for me, medium power, fast action. It's got 15-pound braid on here, and that is X9 braid that's been on there for a long time. I tested this reel before they came out on the market, so this reel, even though it only launched last year, this one's more than a year old, and this line is more than a year old as well. So you see it's had a little bit of fading to it, but it's still a full spool because the stuff's very durable. And then of course the Revo Rocket. And the Revo Rocket, the big thing about the Revo Rocket that I love, and the more time goes on, I'm getting more and more and more into faster reels. The retrieve speed is very high on this, and not just the gear ratio, but also the size of the spool. It allows me to minimal amount of winding, and all I'm trying to do with the reel on a jerkbait rod anyway is control slack line. See what we got here. I think, I don't know, get up out of the weeds. It's staying down, so I don't think it's a smallmouth. It is a bass, actually. So it's a foul hooked on the side bass. What flavor is it? Yeah, I'll just swing him because he's kind of a mess. Huh, okay. Now I want to point out we're sitting out, if you see how far the boat is from the bank, guys, we are out in the middle of a big old wide open point, hoping like crazy to not get hooked by this fish right here because I've got a weird hook on him. But the wide open point we're out on is long ways from the bank, and we're just fishing over grass beds. If I can get him unhooked, we'll be doing good here. All right, there you go, largemouth bass, a wee largemouth bass. And I also want to point out these lure wraps, guys, so handy, particularly if you're gonna have a bunch of jerkbaits or treble hooks, I should say, on your boat. And all my rods have anything with a trebled hook on, or trebled bait on it has a wrap on it. It's something I highly recommend. In general, they're cheap. There's all different kinds of them out there, but some way to wrap the bait so keep them from tangling in the rod locker, as well as make them safer on the deck of your boat when you're moving around if you've got a bunch of rods like we commonly do. The other thing is these rod socks, my opinion, gotta have them. If you're gonna have a bunch of rods in the boat, you gotta have them. Ryan Wood made these ones for me. Thank you, Ryan Wood. But rod socks, gotta have them. Protect the tip of the rod for travel and things like that as well. When I put these in the back of my Tundra, I also put rod socks on all of them, and then one big sock over the top of the whole thing, and they move as a unit. That way, if I'm not pulling the boat and I'm taking a bunch of rods with me, the rod socks will help protect them from damage in the back of the truck. I keep mentioning how the jerkbait was the only thing they would bite. I could have fished that lake for 2 solid days in completely different weather patterns with this box and only this box. And it's just a whole box full of jerkbaits. The Stunna, like this one right here, did the overwhelming majority of the damage there. It's the regular, not the +1 model. I used it in a couple different colors, gold chrome. We used a silver chrome, a few different colors, but what didn't change is the bait itself. Oh, big old bass, here we go. This one, no, we'll go ahead and net this one. I think he's pretty good size, and I didn't get squat for a hook set. Guys, I just retied the bait. It's a largemouth. He's hooked on the chin. Yep, and just hold the net real tight. There you go, there, he's in the boat. There we go. I tried other jerkbaits as well. We did get a couple of bites on the hit stick like this one right here as well, but the suspending bait was a better choice for sure. And the hit stick's a slow floater, so it will slowly rise its way to the surface. In this particular case, the suspending bait was a better deal, and just letting that stunner pull down and hang there was a lot of the deal for particularly with the bass. We were working maybe a 0 to 1.5 or 2 second pause at the most, and that's how we got all of our fish to bite. All right, there we go. I'll just swing him. Yep, I'm just gonna swing him. That's another brown one. So guys, the boat still hasn't moved. And, ooh, this guy's gonna be a handful to deal with right here, guys. So we're gonna be careful with him.
Come off the fish.
Yep, the boat still has not moved. It still has not been a cast in between. It's 3 in a row. Open your mouth, there we go. So we're headed the right direction. We caught quite a bit bigger than that, but that one's getting better. That's a little thicker, a little heavier. We'll give him good luck. Kiss. And that little stunner in the morning sun, right? That's pretty good looking deal. It's a 20-pound monofilament leader. It's a Trilene XT leader, not fluorocarbon, because I want the bait to stay up higher in the water column, because if I don't keep it up in the water column, it gets down in the weeds more. So I pull it down, pop it a couple times, and slack it out. They're super subtle bites. And you'd almost think the water was real cold, but it's not. It's just under 70 degrees. But for whatever reason, this morning, they're wanting that thing slacked all the way out. And that's the whole retrieve. And every so often it gets bit. So far it's been bit 3 times in 3 minutes. One thing that gave us a bunch of intel that we knew was that we were on the right bait is we weren't getting fish hooked around the outside of the mouth very much. They were getting that bait planted in the face, which tells me they're popping it pretty good. If you're working a jerkbait and you're catching fish all around the outside of the head and around the mouth or whatever, it's because they're grabbing the bait while you're slashing at it and they're not really fully committed. They're more excited about it. But when they're choking it, you know that you've got the right bait. And without question, that's what was going on with these bass, is they were flat smoking that thing. That's a smallmouth. Oh dude, this is a good pond. All right, we'll keep tracking him. No, we're good. I'll let him burn for a minute because he's got 3 treble hooks on that stunner. I have personally removed a half dozen of those Fusion 19s from myself, and I never like it, so we'll let him burn out for a quick minute. He's buried on that bait, so he ain't coming off. And then he's choked it too. Look at this, dude. It is choked. Come on up in here, buddy.
Nice fish.
Perfect headshot on it, meaning that they're biting the bait how I want. And dude, this is a fun pond. Okay. And there's the stun. I still haven't even changed it yet.
Nice fish.
So when we drove to Minnesota, part of the goal was to get camera guy Tim Fransworth on some fish as well, let him do some fishing as well, which has been the thing of ours the last couple of years. After nearly 20 years of doing this, it's fun to get the camera guy on some fish, and he fishes just as much as I do, sometimes more, depending on what's going on that year. And you got him on the stunner. Yeah, on the silver stunner. So there you have it, some early fall Midwest bass fishing in Minnesota with 2 of my closest friends. It really doesn't get any more fun than that. And the fun part about it for me was the fact that basically everybody told us there were hardly any bass in there, and we proved everybody wrong. So hopefully you learned some stuff from today's show, Fish with an Open Mind. The reaction bait got it done once again. That is no surprise.